today I join you to discuss the 57th gene key, okay? And this is the gene key that we experience the shadow of unease, the gift of intuition, and the Siddhi of Clarity, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. So I love gardening. And I know that, I know the magic behind watching something grow from seed, right? And so the 57th gene key is a lot like the persistence of a new tree that's coming up, right? That's sprouting into life, unknowing what its course is going to look like over its lifetime. And so just take the very existence of our own life force and think about how it can actually create unease for many people. The unknown creating this fear frequency, right? All of the shadows really thrive from a place of fear. And it really takes such courage to be human, courage to ride out the many experiences that we endure as human beings, you know? And this 57th hexagram is known as the wind. So take a second to process that. What do you know about the wind, right? Well, it can be gentle. It can be ever flowing. It can be calm, but it can also be the very source of disaster and destruction. I mean, think about hurricane season, which I think we're pretty close to the end of. But if we tune into that energy just for a second, we can uncover the deep fear that comes with the wind, right? And at one time, our ancestors functioned purely from intuition. Their cues in their bodies, you know, the ability to just know when something was awry, when danger was coming. And I mean, unfortunately, we're far more conditioned to analyze everything first, to research and go find proof instead of tuning into our own intuition. And this internal battle of instinctuous behavior, the knowledge against the paranoia and the pressure to justify all of this, right? It can cause a deep vibrational unease within our own individuality, right? Our own individual bodies, which then in turn really feeds the unease of the collective as a whole, right? And all around us, we feel this pressure to live in the moment, to be in the now, but our minds simply cannot imagine such processes sometimes, right? This 57th key really can affect our life the most severely during our development, probably right after conception. You know, the 9 months that we spend inside our mother's auric field, it's hardwired into our DNA. And as you can probably imagine, right? And this 57th key, along with the 51st key, they tend to affect our ability to move past the fear of the future. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? Through the listening to our intuition, little by little, we can break free from this hamster wheel of worry and anxiety and even fear in some cases, right? So as with most shadows, there's a repressive side of this particular shadow. And when our intuition is suppressed by the power of the mind, we become doubtful, we become hesitant, and we become trapped in our fears and the inability to make a commitment. And this is where we find the repressive nature of this particular shadow of unease. And then we have a reactive, right, version of the shadow, which makes instantaneous decisions upon the feeling of unease, right, to avoid the unease. And as we try to avoid that unease, it really creates the manifestation of further turmoil deeper within, right? The more we try to avoid it, the worse it tends to get. And so when we react to oppose what we can't understand, we become impetuous and resist against the natural flow of life, right? And that's more of the reactive side, not so much of suppressing it, but like acting out against it, so to speak. And so as we move through the unconflicted state, right, into the gift of intuition, we find the quality of wisdom to be unprecedented. Fear is so uncomfortable at a deep core within our bodies and our minds. And as we break free of this deep-rooted fear, we're able to link by link, right, remove the chains that bound us, that hold us back, that keep us down. And we can tune into this feeling of fear and really evaluate, right? And uncover where is it originating from? Where is this fear coming from? So that we can have a deeper understanding of where the anxiety is stemming from, really. And it, I mentioned it takes such amazing courage to be human and stick through the inner processing to find safety in the seemingly unsafe world around us. But once we move through the shadow and we embrace the gift of intuition, we reach, right, the Siddhi of Clarity. We understand how to heal and see past our weaknesses and our strengths, right? So, and you have to kind of understand both of those, right? What the weaknesses are, what the strengths are, and to know without a doubt that everything is linked through gentleness. Think about that for a second. It's all linked through gentleness. So it's really only when we tend to adopt this sense of gentleness, the gentleness of the spirit even, so to speak, we collaborate with others around us, the clarity can really be founded. And truly, we can start to understand and embrace just the simple nature of being, right? And think about that. I want you to take some time to think about that. Where do you tend to feed into the unease and psych yourself out of some decisions or psych yourself out of experiences, right? When do you catch yourself overthinking things instead of like feeling into them? On the other side, where do you tend to feel the most comfortable tuning into your gift of intuition? How can you use that into other areas of your life? And how can you use, right, your experiences through unease to manifest the deeper use and understanding of your own personal intuition? So there's just a few questions that I would say kind of percolate on those and see what comes up for you during that process. The 57th gene key is sticking around for a few more days, and then we're going to move over into the 32nd gene key. So as you experience this particular transit over the next couple of more days, let me know what comes up for you. Does this key actually show up in your profile somewhere? And if so, which sphere does it occupy in your profile? And if it's not in your profile, that doesn't mean that you don't experience it. We all experience all 64 of the gene keys. So let me know what comes up for you during this particular transition in your day today. Where are you feeling uneasy right now? Or where have you been able to tap into your intuition and overcome that unease? Thanks for listening in. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out, leave them below, and I look forward to joining you again soon to talk more about the 32nd gene key coming up in a few days. Namaste.